Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I show the gameplay by Stella and Monika, and this beautiful game complete in 24 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with the pawn to e4, e6, d4, d5, and after this the knight to c3, then the bishop to d4, and this bishop is pinning the knight, and the pawn can capture the pawn at e4. So after this move, the white just capture the pawn, e takes d5, and now the e takes d5 again. Then the bishop to d3, and the black continue to develop knight to c6. So this is the first fight move, and the white is slightly better in this position. Then the game continues with a3, trying to attack the bishop, and the bishop just capture the knight. Then the pawn capture back, and after this the black develop the knight g to e7, and with this the black can go for a short castling. So the game continue with queen to f3, and the black develop bishop to e6. Then the knight continue to play knight to e2, then queen to d7, and with this move, this allow black have the option either to castling the king side or the queen side. So after the 10 move, the white castling to the king side, and at this move the black decide to casting and go for the queen side, and preparing to have the pawn attack with the king side. So after this move, at the 10th move, the black play a long castling with the king, go for the queen side castling, and with this you have the idea to move the pawn to storm ahead and attack the white square. So after this move, a4 was played, and then the black play bishop to f5, preparing to go for exchange. So here the better move will be playing h5. So in the actual game, after bishop to f5, then the bishop goes to a3, and this bishop, you have the idea to attack knight, and also you can bring the rook from the f to the b square, and the idea would be attacking from the b file. After this move, the black play h5, and now the position is become equal. Then the rook f to b1, and now the black continue to play g5, and here you have the pawn storm, and the idea with this is to move the pawn, and to move forward the pawn to attack the white color. So after this move, the knight to c1, and after this g4 from the black to attack the queen. And here the queen just back to d1. And after this move, rook d to g8. Now you bring the rook together, and the pawn at the h is preparing to go for the attack and able to capture the pawn. And this is the first 15 move, and the white still is better in this position. So after this move, the knight to b3, and b6 was played. Then the bishop to b5, pinning the knight. And after this, you have the rook to g6, preparing to double up the rook. Then a5 was played, trying to attack the pawn, and with this, the black push the pawn to g3 to attack. So after this move, the white capture the pawn and takes g3 and threaten to win with the queen e2. Then after this move, h4 was played, trying to attack the pawn and check the king. And here, the queen to f1. After this move, the h pawn takes g3. And here, the position still equal, and this is the first 20 move. Then, after this move, the white play h3. And at this position is very hard for the black to play, and at this move, the black move a position sacrifice with the bishop. And here there's a very nice move. The black play bishop takes h3 and go for the sacrifice. So after bishop capture h3, and if you capture with the pawn, then now the rook can capture that and attack. Then after this, if you move any move such as capture with the pawn, then the rook can go to rook g to h8, and after this you're able to check and win the queen. And here the black will be clearly winning with this sacrifice at this position. So back to this position, the best way for the white to play would be capture the pawn, and after the pawn c takes, then you can just use a g takes the bishop. And now if you use the rook to capture, and here the bishop can just capture the knight, and the knight cannot capture. If you capture, the queen will take the queen. So if you take with the queen, then the queen can take the rook at h3, and this will be a check. And after this position, the white is completely winning the game. And you have the rook at the a to attack the pawn as well after the bishop capture the knight. So for example, if you move the king to b8, then the rook can continue to go to e1 and attack the queen, and after that also the bishop can take the knight, and this move the white will be winning. So back to that position, the white capture the pawn at f7, and with this move, and this is a tactical blunder which caused the black to be clearly winning. And after this move, the black used the bishop to capture the pawn at g2. Bishop takes g2, and you have the idea to check the king to rook h1. Then you can bring the queen to h3 and continue check, and this will be completely winning for the black. So after this move in the actual game, the white capture the e7 knight, and after capture, now queen to h3, and this will be be a complete winning for the black. And after this move, the black is winning and mate in 7 moves. And in the actual game, the bishop goes to a6 and check the king. However, after the king moves to b8, then the white resign the game. And if you want to continue the game, the queen can go to f8 and check the king. And after rook capture, then bishop capture, and the queen can go to h1 and it will be a very nice checkmate. So back to this position, and if the white capture the bishop, king takes g2, then you can just continue with the queen to h3 check. And again, you have a very limited place to move, and if you move to g1, then you have a queen to h1 checkmate. And after this check, if you move the king to f3, then the queen can just go to g4 and continue the diagonal check. And after king to e3, then the knight will goes to f5 and continue check. And now the rook at the h file will be very active to go for the check. So therefore the queen just capture, and after this queen just capture again, and at this move the black will be winning a queen. So if you go to bishop a6 check the king just can move to b8. Then after rook to e1, you can just play a rook to e6, continue check, and king to d2. Then you have the queen f4 diagonal check, and also the rook can attack the rook, and the king to d3. Then you have the rook to h2 to control the file, and here you have a simple queen to f3 checkmate. So if you capture the rook, then the queen to f3 check, then the rook back to protect, and now the queen goes to diagonal check, queen to f5 and diagonal check, and the rook has controlling the square, and as well as the pawn control the square. So with this, there's no other move that is to block with the rook a4 from the check. And after this move, the queen will just capture, queen takes e4, and it will be a checkmate. So basically this game, the interesting move is that at this position you need to move ahead the pawn, and with this pawn you can just attack the white king in the game. And with this, thank you.